name's Chris.
I'm Craig.
And today we're going to bring you our review, spoiler-free-ish, of The Revenant.
Yeah, so this review will be spoiler-free. The only things that we will discuss will be what was released in the trailer. There is a key plot point that is released there, so just know that we will be discussing that. The Revenant is directed by Alejandro Iñárritu. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy, Donald Gleason, Will Poulter, and Forrest Goodluck. And it's essentially the story of a frontiersman who is out with a hunting party collecting pelts. They get attacked by a Native American tribe who is very upset with them taking over their land. They want the pelts to trade with other people. After being separated, they have to take an alternate route. During the course of that, Leonardo DiCaprio is attacked by a bear, severely mauled, basically fatally injured, and it is up to the party, led by Captain Andrew Hendry, played by Donald Gleason, to decide what to do with Hugh Glass, DiCaprio, and whether or not to leave him, to take him. He is their guide. He knows the backwoods. Their whole reason they brought him on board was to lead him through this and bring them back to their fort, back to safety. And they're left to decide, do we keep him, do we not? Some members of the party, John Fitzgerald, played by Tom Hardy, want to leave him behind. Some of them don't. And an event happens, which shows in the trailer, where Hardy does something pretty terrible to Glass, and that sets him on a path for revenge. And that basically sets our movie in motion. So, what do you think? I mean, how did you like The Revenant?
I really loved it. There was a lot of things about this movie that I absolutely loved. It's probably, even though it's the beginning of the year, it's my first movie of 2016, but right now this is my top movie of the year.
Big statement.
Big statement. But Leonardo DiCaprio, he went all on board on this movie. A lot of people don't know he's a vegetarian, and he actually ate a raw bison liver for this role in this movie. And that's pretty big for him, and he really showed what he can do, and I'm really surprised that he's not getting more recognition for this role.
Yeah, and the funny thing about that, they actually used a prosthetic bison liver, or prosthetic, like a fake, a prop, and DiCaprio said, no, this doesn't feel real enough. Mm-hmm. Bring me the real thing. I'll break my diet and everything for this, and in order to get the effect. And I love this story. Now, personally, this is something that there's a lot of depth in a movie like this. This is an art film. This is not a movie. This is a film. And I say that not to sound like a purist, but this is something that visually, performance-wise, direction-wise, cinematography-wise, this is an art film. It is a performance piece. It's an art piece. This is so heavily based on visuals that it's not this, pedal to the metal action thriller that you're going to be looking at of some movies. So for a story like this, you need to really get behind the characters, get behind the performances. This needs to fire on all cylinders, like I said, in order to make this work. And it does. I mean, this is a basic survival story, and you are following Hugh Glass pretty much all the way through. And to see the depths that not only Glass, but DiCaprio, that performance, they blend together so well. You're watching this character and you're watching this actor go through so much. It just enhances your experience of the film so much more, because you know what lengths that they're both of these characters. I mean, DiCaprio and Glass basically end up being the same one. To see what they're going through, it's just great to watch. Tom Hardy.
That's another thing. Tom Hardy, he didn't get much screen time because it was focused on Hugh Glass, but when he was on screen, I wanted more of it. I wanted more of his performance. I wanted more about his character, but what he gave, in the time that he had, I thought he did a phenomenal job.
He did. It's like Max from Mad Max meets an evil Davy Crockett, sort of. He kind of has that mumble the Bane sort of thing going on. He's going through a little bit of a method speaking right now, but he's great. I mean, he emotes so well through his eyes. He's just so great with facial expressions. You believe him in all these characters. Even if some of them do have similarities, he still immerses himself so heavily into the role that he's great in it. Donald Gleason was really good as well. He was the captain of the party. He's great. He's been on a tear recently. Star Wars, Ex Machina, all sorts of other stuff. He's doing really well. Will Poulter. Yeah. I mean, everyone just knows him as eyebrows from We're the Millers and Maze Runner and stuff. But I'm sorry, the kid has eyebrows, but he's really good in this.
No, he is. He was another star that's getting underlooked in this movie. Him and Tom Hardy's chemistry on screen was very phenomenal. They weren't really together all that long, but when they were, they made sure they gave it their all, and I really enjoyed their performances together.
It was a great dynamic between the two of them. Like you said, they don't have a ton of screen time, but between the older veteran frontiersman figure and then you have this young boy who's very green, he almost doesn't belong, and they're so out of place. Morally, they're so different in terms of, there's a line in there, this isn't a spoiler, but he tells him, you're not ready to be a man. There's just, they come from similar but such different backgrounds that dynamic works so well. And just those few moments that you get with those characters as you see them on their own separate journey, as everyone kind of splits off into these little stories. So I thought they did a great job. Forrest Goodluck as well plays the role of Hawk. He was really good. Again, didn't have a huge role in the movie, but he was really solid. He's a younger Native American actor. He does a great job in his limited role in the movie as well.
Yep.
So that performance-wise, I couldn't be happier. DiCaprio better get nominated. I don't know what else he's going to eat or what other conditions he's going to sleep in, but I'm just worried what's going to happen to Leo if he doesn't do this. I'm worried about Leo if he doesn't. He's going to like go underwater and start like method diving for 20 minutes without oxygen and just to do anything he can to get that trophy. But what else do you suck out about the movie?
Just the way the film was shot, the landscape, the light, the darkness, just everything, the close-up shots too of the characters when you really needed to get emotionally attached to the scene. You know, the way that the director zoomed in on the characters' faces, even when they were breathing heavily in some scenes and their breath fogged up the camera, I thought that was really cool. I mean, even though, you know, a lot of movies don't do that, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
More realism there. But the one thing I really got out of this movie was how it was filmed with the natural light. That's the main thing I got out of this.
That is one big thing that if you are into movies and you follow a lot of movie news, you knew about that going into it. But for a lot of those who don't, this film was made with entirely natural lighting. There was not a single prop light taken out to film this movie. There's no electricity. They are in the woods. That's a wilderness. So all of this was filmed with just sunlight, fires, moonlight. This is these actors out in the snow, out in the cold. That's the environment they're in. They had to go out hours every day to get into where they needed to shoot. And the shots, it's just crazy to think about how far away they were from normal civilization and to get these huge wide-angle shots, both tracking shots, landscape shots. The cinematography was Emmanuel Lubezki did such a great job on, and Inarritu. I mean, just a visual joy to watch, to see movies like this, because you don't see stuff like this often. It's combining a nature documentary but with the effects of a movie and the budget of a movie, and it's just incredible to watch. I mean, it's over 2.5 hours long, but I don't know. For me, I didn't feel like that at all. It's just more, you're just so into everything with the characters and the way that the movie's shot and the way that it's paced that I'm just more invested every single shot. You're either wowed by what you're looking at, you're wowed by the performances, and you're invested in the character story. It just flows so well. It was just awesome to watch. What else did?
The sound. When it was raining, you know, it sounded like it was really raining. Usually you can't tell when it's raining, but you know, when there was one particular scene with the zoom in shot when it was raining when they're walking through the forest, that was
the big wide between all the mountains, and you see him just walking by himself.
Yeah,
and that's a slow pan in too.
It is. There is a lot of good shots with sound only. You know, when Leo's by himself, there was snow, rain,
even the crackling of the fire.
Yep.
Everything is just this. Again, if you're a fan of films like this, or just a fan of film in general, but experiences, I keep saying that, but this is a film experience. Just everything brings you in between the characters, the direction, the coloring, the lighting, and the sound. You could almost feel like you're cold, hanging out on the mountain, just watching him, maybe just in a little parka, so you're warmer than he is, but you're everywhere in this movie. It's all around you, and it's such a great experience to bring you in. There aren't a lot of movies that have that kind of effect on you, and there's such an attention to detail, to sound, editing, the crispness of the picture, and the environment that's built around, whether digital or not. It's just something that's really a joy to watch, and I had a great time with it. Did you have any negatives with this?
I did. There was only a few. There's not that many things that I can really say that's bad about this movie, but the one thing I have to say is the visuals with the animals. The bear attack looked really cool, but just the bear, you can tell it was CGI. Yeah. There's one scene where Leo's walking up a hill when he gets out of a river, and there's a herd of bison, and you can tell that's CGI, which is fine, but it's just, you know, it kind of took me out of the movie for that split second.
When you see how beautiful everything else is, and you just, how crisp and everything, and then you see a CGI animal, and look, they're going to use CG, that's fine. I'm not expecting them to get a bear to attack Leo, that's understandable, but when you see him, and then you see the bear, it's like, okay, that's fake, and that's fine. Well, you're not going to get a bear to attack him. He's not going that far to win an Oscar. One other little bit of a side plot, and it's not a spoiler, but I'm not going to get into it too much, but there is another storyline within the movie that doesn't feel like it's as materialized as it could be. Like it's in the background the whole time, and when it's revealed, it doesn't really feel like much of a reveal. I don't want to go into any more detail than that, and because when you watch the movie, if you watch this beforehand, you probably aren't even going to understand what I'm saying. It's just there's a little thread that follows, and when it is unveiled, you're like, okay, that's cool.
So final thoughts on this movie. I think everyone should go and see it. It's an enjoyable movie. Now, a lot of people are saying it's a 2.5 hour movie and it's just Leonardo DiCaprio walking around. But that is true, but it's survival and what he's going to do. There are a lot of times where I didn't know how he is going to survive and what he's going to have to do in order to survive. So I was drawn into this movie. I never got bored of it. So I highly recommended this to everyone.
Yeah, I agree. And this is not a film for everyone. And we're not purists by any means. We love popcorn action movies just like as much as we like things like this. This is a tough watch for a lot of people. There's a lot of violence. This is very graphic. Very, very graphic points. And it's brutal. Brutally graphic. Not a slasher movie, anything like that, but in a way not that far off. It's realistic violence. It's realistic, realistic brutality, and it's gruesome at points. It's a tough watch in many parts, not just because of the time, but just because of the graphic content of what's going on for all characters involved, not just DiCaprio, but Hardy, everyone involved in this story. There is some graphic violence. And it's done in a tasteful way, not unlike something like Gladiator or a movie like that. It's done tastefully, but there are some parts of this that are very tough to watch when you combine that with a runtime and the fact that this is more of a visual film experience than anything else. But I still love it if you can handle the violence, if you can handle the runtime, if you want to have an overall just sensory experience. Again, this is a great movie to check out. This would have been in my top 5 easily for 2015. Had we seen this in 2015, have to imagine this will be near the very, very top of my list. If not number 1 at the end of the year. We'll see what happens with the year has to come. So, score. What do you got?
All right. With everything we said, I'm going to give it 9.5.
Oh, all right. Better than last time. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm going to 9.7. I mean, we both love this movie. I mean, right after we walked out, I think the first word we both said to each other was, wow, that was some heavy but awesome stuff. So strongly recommend this. Like I said, based on all the recommendations we've given, check this movie out. It is definitely worth your money. Yeah, I think that's about all we got for next time. Just feel free to check out any of the prior videos. All of our information's in the little boxes below there. Done a few of them together now. Best movies of 2015. Have some other ones coming out for most disappointing. Movies we're looking forward to 2016. Movies we're not looking forward to 2016. As well as everything else that's soon to come in the near future. So
yeah, keep supporting us. Thanks for the support. Please leave us comments. Let us know what you think, and we'll continue doing what we do best.
All right, thanks, guys.